Welcome back. It's crazy right now. So I've been lately doing posts for a while. I've been doing a lot more of those. I've been doing a lot more live streaming. I've been doing a lot more lately on like YouTube, on like Twitch. I'm yet to do like Instagram yet, but I haven't really found ideas for that. Really try it or not for this stuff. I haven't edited a video in like forever. So maybe I could get back to editing edited videos again, so it will be way better, you know. I just couldn't get ideas lately. I just can't get ideas lately, so who knows? But I'm live streaming like consistently, so should be enough to go through the days till I get an idea. Otherwise, they'll be mega bored. Of me. But I think the idea of editing the videos is great, but I never really do that unless I really do like some unless I do like weightlifting content. I could go back to doing rapid fire myths that I could boss in Fortnite, but I'm just gonna say, I think it's probably better if I do something different. I could, but that's not who I am. Oh, hi, Frank. Hi. It's been a while. I wonder when is time? How you want to play Fortnite later in the day, or something like that? So I'm walking right now, but I'm not too far away from the house. Okay, it shouldn't take too long for this walk. I just normally do a daily walk because I could get the vitamin D and stuff. It's supposed to help with like testosterone. And I think a lot of people should get some sunlight, more sunlight. It improves your mood as well. It's pretty great. I have like unfriended like so many people. I made sure I kept you as a friend in Fortnite, but too many people kept on going into my creative things, and I'm like, no. And these are people I don't really play with, so I just only would like 10 left. Oh. So you need to go to the doctor from 4 to 5. Okay. That gives us at most, and that gives me at least an hour. You know what? I don't usually run, but this live stream's like like 7 minutes. There hasn't been much going on around here. Yeah. Still trying to work on stamina. At 5 o'clock, okay. Or 4:30. Okay. Dab. That's all I can think of. Come here up. Come. Someone thinks I'm going insane. It's been 13 minutes so far. That's been a heck of a live stream, the last live stream. This one starts off sort of strong. It doesn't really end up as strong. You know what? I'll say it. I'll talk a bit about some things. So lately, I've been thinking about how I've been doing concentration mode. I recorded some Pokemon Go videos that I can use for later. Just so you guys know, there's a lot more going on than meets the eye. I think we all go to die. Oh yeah. But death is the reason why we work hard while we're alive. It gives meaning to life, knowing that in like 80 years or so, we're all gonna die, you know? Even the oldest of us haven't even reached 130 years old. I know. It sounds like a lot, but it's not. It really ain't. Put it this way. With how much you spend and how much you make a year for an average person, if you're like that old, that you will have issues becoming a millionaire. You won't be able to become a millionaire like that. And, well, I was walking, so I should probably get back to it, but the idea is, because you are so young, you die pretty early, you should not take things for granted and work very hard when you're young. I think every moment should be enjoyed, I think, because at the end of the day, once you're 21, you basically start deteriorating. Which isn't actually that far away from my age. I'm only 7 years younger than that. But you don't deteriorate enough. And it's pretty slow, essentially. Slow enough to the point where until you become like old, you're not really having much issues. You're still pretty much able to do what you could do when you're young. You were young, and actually it isn't until you're 30 that you get weaker. Of course, there is such a thing as technology, so I don't know, maybe the future is way different. And for all we know, the people nowadays actually age a lot slower than they used to. Although some people argue against that and say like millennials age way slower and Gen Z ages way faster. It really depends on how you do it. But if you take the correct steps, you will age way slower today and then any point of your life, any other point of human history. We have the ability to age pretty slowly. Which doesn't sound crazy. 60 is the new 55, so it's not that huge of an amount. The reason why people say we look younger than them, like Gen X, is because we actually do age slower. It's not that we're younger, it's just that we are truly physically younger, essentially. That's not a bad thing. That gives you more time to like get stronger and stuff, if you really think about it. And it allows you to live longer, which we have been living longer. There hasn't been much. I think a lot of people are very negative about how society is nowadays because of the fact that there are so many things back then that they liked. But here's the thing, the same thing won't hit the same when you become 50 or 60. And yeah, sometimes it does change and a lot of that, but you can always go back for a lot of things. And actually, a lot of things don't actually really change. Like, think about Mario. Mario still exists. Think about it. Mario still exists. Mario still exists. Who here likes Mario? I mean, Mario's cool now. But, like, it's in the 1980s. There's still Star Wars, too, as well. Star Wars is good, but it's fallen off, yeah. But you can still, the movie still exists. The older movies still exist. How old am I? I'm 18. I'm an adult. I know. I'm still playing a game that I played as a child. Things like going back to Minecraft and stuff, like other things when you're a child, once you become an adult or something like that, it just hits different. Though it really depends on how long you've been away from it. fact that nostalgia has changed. That's a big part of why people say, like, things aren't the way they used to be. Nostalgia used to be like that. It used to be something like on the lines of homesickness. Now it's basically melancholy. It used to be a longing. And how do you do 90s? You know what? I think I might have to do a video for that. Or I might have to teach you. With the, in-game. I might have to teach you in-game. But it's so just the reason why we like things like Mario or Star Wars, even though a lot of times they've fallen off or there's been better stuff coming up. I don't think many people have nostalgia for CJ, right? Well, a lot of people do. And well, he hasn't changed that much. So maybe he hasn't gotten worse at it. Maybe people with CJ, other people look back at CJ and fear us. And there's a lot of people who do. There's a lot of things that they do that wasn't done before, even after. But CD has been pretty much been copied, bar for bar. And yet, Fearless hasn't. Yet, not a lot of people talk about Fearless as much as CD. The better example is probably like Home Alone, I guess. It's not really a better example, but Star Trek, I guess. You might go back to the newer video. You might watch the newer ones to see how they compare to the older ones. A lot of the times they do change stuff. But it doesn't really change the fact that entertainment hasn't really changed. The biggest change is actually social media. The only difference really is that there's social media. Are we going to die? That's a good question. That's a good question. It really depends on how you look at the future. Because tech could actually save us. And then there's stuff like that. I think we're all gonna die. For all of us. But I think in the future, we might not die from old age like I used to. Or maybe we won't be dying from old age. Maybe we'll die in a different way. We will die. It's just if you will die from old age or something else. I think there's a chance that we won't die from old age. Even if like you don't die from a heart attack or anything like that. There's a large chance. Other than untimely deaths, if like you live up to 100 or 120, you're pretty likely to get shot or mauled by a dog or something like that, you're more likely to die from something like that than just by old age. Especially if you're in your younger years, there's still a pretty chance. I don't want to die when I'm too young. In life, well, it depends on what you mean too young. If you mean it by you're not an adult, it's a highly unlikely chance. If you mean by like you're not you're 10, well, it's only 8 years. I don't know what you're going through, so I don't know what you'll go through. It's best to focus on what you can do to change the future. Do right now to change the future, rather than just worry about the future. I think there's a whole bunch of people that don't want to die when they're too young, and it makes sense. But there's not much you can do about it, so I wouldn't worry about things you can't control. It's very stressful to worry about things you can't control. Because when you worry about things you can't control, you'll just continue worrying about them because they won't change. You can change it. You can't. You can't do anything about it. As opposed to something you can actually do about. Which, if you do something, you won't have to worry. You won't really worry about it. You go to seeing the eclipse. If you see the sky, you see how it's, really cloudy around here. I'm up like north, so it'll become like very cloudy and stuff around this time. It's kind of like New York weather. If that helps you understand it a little bit. Or to a lesser extent, Canadian weather. I've never seen an eclipse. I want to, but I don't really worry about it too much. I can't really control the weather. Not much thinking about weather. I don't think anyone can control the weather. I mean, there is such a thing as nukes, and that's basically controlling the weather. But I think we basically shunned nukes, so I mean, controlling the weather is a lot. It's a lot like nuking a place, if you really think about it. It's just as hard, if not harder, to change the weather. There are two types of people in this world. There are people who don't take life serious enough, and there's people who take the life too seriously. Both aren't very good. You need a balance between the two. Did I have Prime? At one point I did have Prime, actually. I didn't like the grape flavor, and I actually had a different flavor and I didn't like it, which was Meta Moon. Apparently, kind of a lot of prime drinkers also have the same issue, that they don't like grape or Metamune. So I probably picked like the two you shouldn't. And I didn't know about it. I did not focus on it. What's my favorite flavor of prime? Out of the two, grape. Grape was better than Metamune. Grape was better than Metamune. Grape ain't the worst flavor. It's bad, but not the worst flavor. Actually, it wasn't too bad. It was just middle of the road. It was doable. There was an aftertaste that I didn't like, but I could go through it again and again. The Metamune, on the other hand, no. If you ever think about getting Metamune, no. I don't know what your tastes are, but go in with caution. Metamune's ugh. But I've not really tried many flavors of prime. Strawberry watermelon was my favorite prime. Okay, strawberry watermelon is your favorite prime. Okay, makes sense. Strawberry watermelon, you can't really ruin that. It currently can ruin grape though. Some people actually hate grape, including me. I probably would have tried more prime if it wasn't for the fact that Logan Paul's kind of a dickhead. Well, if you forget about it, prime is okay. I honestly, the more I think about it, I don't get people who hate prime. Kind of like Gatorade. It really is kind of like Gatorade. It's just Gatorade has the nostalgia factor. We all drank Gatorade. Okay. So there's Oh yeah. This might be crazy to say. Actually, there are certain personalities that do like gaming more than others. They're the more aggressive types. I mean, when Laserman said, if someone gets like corrupted by Fortnite, they've already been destined to get someone. If you get corrupted by a game, you are already destined to. There's a lot of these painted rocks everywhere. Of course, I could go in about personality types. But I don't know who wants to hear that shit today. At least when they came there for walking. The crazy thing about spaces, like, there's probably life out there. There's no, like, actual proof for it. But let me give you kind of a thing where if you believe in God, it depends on whether you believe him to be a living being or not. If you believe him to be a living being, then he's not from Earth, right? So then he's an alien. So then you have to believe in aliens. Or at least that there is one alien. The issue with that is, who wants to believe God's an alien? Same thing goes with all other, like, religions that believe in a God that isn't from Earth. It really depends on how you look at it. For all of them, it's highly likely, because there are billions, hundreds of billions of galaxies, and they all have like hundreds of billions of planets with whole entire stars. And like, there's at least 1,000 Earth-like planets in this galaxy. So who knows? This is probably, and think about it this way: we live in a remote place and a remote planet with an average star, and that this planet's pretty average. All in a pretty mediocre solar system. In a pretty mediocre galaxy. And there's no aliens. There's billions of other galaxies. Billions of other chances, even if you think there's only one life form on a galaxy. That doesn't prove that aliens exist. It just means that maybe we just can't prove aliens exist. It's kind of like trying to disprove God. Yeah, there's no proof that we can see for a lot of people. But people believe in God. And you can't really disprove God. How are you supposed to disprove something that is that? Well, I guess you could, theoretically. But I should probably not speak about that, because I am not non-religious. It's not really a thing. If you believe there's something up out there, you have to believe in aliens. There's a being up there. There has to be an alien. At least one. So it's crazy to think that, yes, aliens are probably there, but if you really think about it, there's also no disproving that. There's no proof of it. Also, it could be because Even if aliens do exist, they're probably hiding from us. Or they just don't give a crap about us. How are you gonna find out about life forms and or think? What if aliens aren't even advanced? What if we're just saying that like the aliens in this galaxy are super advanced? What if what we think is impossible? What if a lot of science fiction is impossible? I'm not saying that isn't, but what if it is? It can also make it really, really difficult if you're not like able to go to another star to figure out if there's aliens or not. It also kind of destroys the whole entire purpose. I should probably not be throwing this rock right in front of that phone. You basically disprove. Although the fact that we haven't seen aliens, it's crazy if you think about it. If they're advanced, let's just say they haven't gotten Earth. And apparently they haven't gotten Earth, so I'm assuming they ain't advanced enough, at least in our galaxy. But here's the good question. What if aliens, because you can't go to the speed of light, what if aliens don't really, if they're just as advanced as us, but no matter what, we're pretty much doomed to stay in this solar system? If you think about it that way. Because Alpha Centauri is like 4 light years away. You'd have to have a pretty big amount of energy to get there. And even if you had that big amount of energy, it would probably be a generation ship. Then you would have the issue of communicating and all that. I think people think that aliens would be crazy. There's no proof to suggest they are. In fact, you could say that there aren't any of those in the galaxy, at least. They're probably out in a different galaxy, but we've never been able to prove that they're on this galaxy. No way. It basically disproves what we think about aliens. Also, we've been a little more peaceful with wars. There might be a lot of school shootings, if you really think about it. There's not as many like big ass wars. There's like World War I, World War II, then there was the big Cold War in the 1900s. We're technically living in a Cold War. Again, Part 2, Cold War Part 2. But there's no proof that it is even a Cold War. It's even arguable that it's even a Cold War. Or they could say it is arguable, though. I will say that. So we have basically gotten more peaceful. We're not doing as many wars. Oh, the issue is that only says some. That's probably more because if you look at NATO, all those nations probably aren't going to fight each other, right? Then you look at Japan, and you look at Mexico, all those countries. They're allied to the U.S., right? And you wonder, why people are scared of China and North Korea, Russia. It's because it's been so peaceful, essentially. The only two big wars are the two biggest wars, actually, I think, are the war that the U.S. had with the Taliban and the war with Russia and Ukraine. There could be an issue with Taiwan, but it's really to say, really, what we really have to really worry about is really another world war. Because all these options end in world war that you're thinking about right now. Think about China. Russia's gonna fight the US. Boom, World War III again. World War III. Russia. Well, China doesn't want Russia to go down because it's borders. Boom, World War III. Damn, North Korea's down. Boom, World War III. It basically makes a lot of these, it basically makes us not want to do war. That's why we've been seeing like a Cold War of some sort. You know what? Remember the last time there was a Cold War? It was pretty, or the time there was an actual Cold War. I don't think Russia and the US actually fought during that. It was the Soviet Union, yes, but I don't think they fought. Ever since World War II, you have all nations on your side. No one wants to fuck with you. So now you have Saudi Arabia trying to please America in certain ways. Because who wants to start a world war? Probably the only reason why Taiwan hasn't been invaded by China is it would probably start a world war. Any war you think about would start a world war. Usually. There are some wars that wouldn't, I will admit. But they're not big enough where they would have as many consequences we thought. Until Ukraine. Where's the next Ukraine? Maybe it's Taiwan. Maybe it's a load of baloney what the US is saying to China about Taiwan. Because we were thinking about it, you fuck with one of those people, one of those countries, one of those nations. Essentially, you fuck with all of them. And it means the US is probably not gonna fight Russia. And the US ain't gonna probably fight China. It's a possibility, but it makes it really hard to see the US actually doing it unless it was forced. And that's how it was for World War I and World War II. The US, most powerful nation now, will probably, for part of it, of the Third World War be ignoring the war in general, until it's forced to, by another nation or something like that, NATO or just an invasion in general, to fight. Which actually isn't that shocking. Because a lot of Americans think their nation's pretty invulnerable, or close to invulnerable. So the nation thinks, in general, that's invulnerable. The ego. The crazy thing is, the US would be pretty dangerous. Yes. The US also has a large ego. Because it knows that. It knows it can go to a random nation and probably kick their ass. The only nation I think would have a chance is China. Even then, that's only because of the amount of people. In fact, that is the second best military with nukes, and also has the second largest economy with the second largest population, with all this stuff going for it. That isn't geography, unlike the US. Look at the US's geography. The only issue that it really has geography-wise is Tornado Valley. That same place is also pretty useful because of agriculture. That's the place where you'll see a lot of farmers around there. It's pretty good for farmland. Pretty good for farmland. And because of that, it essentially leaves you with the fact that there won't. It basically means that we won't really run out of food. No wonder what was that. No wonder why a lot of us are fat. Oh, for the big ass. She also kind of. That's nice. 2 oceans. So what? If there are 2 oceans helping the US not get attacked, that's all they do for geography, usually. There is this one issue where you ever pay attention to like you actually like pay attention. The geography of the US seems pretty broken. It's a mixture of things. Well, Tornado Alley isn't that big of an issue either. Sure, I think about it. We don't have a lot of earthquakes. We only have the most amount of tornadoes. That's it. We have one choke point though that keeps it from being. It's the greatest reason why we have all this power. It's great. It's the largest navigable river in the world. There are so many things being connected to that. There's been so many things that have been connected to that makes people wonder, why would you not move in the US? Who knows? Now we're gonna get attacked by another nation. You're not really gonna die of starvation. And we won't have too many issues with oil. Of course, we still import a large amount of it, but we could go without importing. The only issue with the US right now is that it's pretty connected with the world economy. And I guess that's enough geopolitics for today. Because who wants to hear about too much of the geopolitics right now? Chris has a lot of good ports. But I'll just give you a quick rundown on that. It's not really necessary to go about it that way. Trump and America great again. Ugh. The thing about Trump, the thing about Joe Biden is we don't know who to trust. You can't really trust anyone nowadays. Yeah, there's always been that level of corruption in the world. But we now pretty much know about it. No wonder why they're trying to pretty much make us not be able to say stuff that we want on the internet. There's censorship. If you're not a news outlet, you can't be political, but I should probably end the stream. I think I would go ages and ages about politics if I just don't end the stream now. Because, like, it's been pretty lackluster for debates and stuff. There hasn't been much going on for debates. Not political debates, but just debates in general. I'm not the type of person you should get your opinions from. You should get those opinions from yourself. It's wonderful out here. It's cloudy, but it's wonderful. said I would end the stream. No, look at me. I'm just admiring stuff. 1, 2, 3. Ending stream.